40 years after the Haddonfield murders in 1978, two journalists, Aaron Corey and Dana Haynes, traveled to Smith's Grove Sanatorium to interview Michael Myers, who was captured after getting shot and falling off the balcony, but only after he killed 6 people, which includes his own sister. Dr. Sartain, Michael's new psychiatrist after Dr. Loomis's death, informed them that Michael is able to speak, but chooses not to. Dana records the event as Aaron approaches Michael and talks to him, but fails to get him to speak, even after showing him his mask and mentioning Laurie Strode, whom he failed to kill on that fateful day. The two journalists leave Smith's Grove Sanatorium and drive to Laurie's house, a heavily fortified and decrepit homestead, and bribe her with $3,000 for an interview. After hearing the amount of money that they are willing to offer, she reluctantly accepts. Here we learn that Laurie has spent the last 40 years dealing with post-traumatic stress and preparing for Michael's inevitable return. She has fortified her home and has trained every day in her life to kill Michael when he arrives. Her feelings have resulted in 2 failed marriages and losing custody of her daughter, Karen. Karen learned how to shoot and defend herself from her childhood, and her training was so severe that child services had to take her away from Laurie, and she never regained custody. Aaron and Dana tell Laurie their interest in finding out why Michael committed the murders in 1978 and ask her to meet with him, in a final attempt to get him to speak before he's transferred to a maximum security prison till the end of his life. Laurie kicks them out of her house, but not before taking the money they offered. In Haddonfield, Laurie's granddaughter, Allison, is walking to school with 2 friends, Vicky and Vicky's boyfriend Dave. She tells them about the stress that her family endures due to her grandmother's past and debunks the town rumor about Michael being Laurie's brother. In class, Allison looks out of the window, only to see Laurie watching her. She meets with her grandmother, who gives her the $3,000 and tells her to have fun. This is where Allison requests her to move on from Michael and spend some time with her family. She adds that focusing on Michael has resulted in Laurie getting isolated from her family. Laurie replies that she has prepared her daughter, Karen, to face all the horrors of the world, and if it results in her resenting Laurie, she would gladly accept her resentment. Laurie vents her frustration while she practices shooting, and we clearly see how serious she is about being strong. On the other hand, Dana plays the recording of Dr. Loomis, who had supervised Michael for a lot of years. Here we learn that he has portrayed Michael as pure evil and wants the state to execute him without wasting more time. He adds that nothing can be learnt from keeping evil alive. The next day, as the transport is being prepared and patients are loaded onto the bus, Dr. Sartain insists on accompanying Michael, and the bus departs. Laurie watches this from a distance and breaks down from the burden of staying strong for all these years. During a family dinner at Karen's house, Laurie arrives and has a panic attack while meeting with her family after a long period of time, and Allison comforts her. In a shocking twist of events, we see that the bus has crashed in a ditch, the security guards were killed, and the inmates were scattered about the road. A man and his son driving down the road happen upon the bus and start to investigate after calling 911. The father goes to check the scenario but does not return even after a few minutes have passed. While the father disappears, his son grabs a rifle from the truck and encounters a fatally wounded security guard who tells him to run. He investigates the bus and is startled by Dr. Sartain and accidentally shoots him in the shoulder. Fleeing back to the truck, he tries to start the engine, but this is when Michael appears from the back seat and kills him mercilessly. After some time, Sheriff Frank Hawkins arrives at the scene and finds Dr. Sartain as the only man alive. Although injured, the doctor asks in a very faint voice if he had escaped, but Sheriff Hawkins, who has no clue whom he is talking about, is not able to give him a definitive answer. The scene cuts to Aaron and Dana, who visit Judith Myers' grave, who turns out to be Michael's sister. Here we get to know that Michael had stabbed his sister multiple times with a knife until she died. But shockingly, the caretaker sees someone keeping an eye on them from afar, wearing the clothes of a prisoner, leading us to believe that Michael had come to his sister's grave to pay her a visit. The following morning, Hawkins explains to a deputy that Michael Myers has escaped and will certainly return to Haddonfield to finish what he started 4 decades ago. Aaron and Dana arrive at a gas station, and here, Dana leaves Aaron to use the bathroom while he goes inside to pay for the gas. While Dana is using the toilet, we see someone else entering and eerily starts checking all the doors as if he is searching for someone. With the inside of the station deserted, Aaron stumbles upon a dead mechanic missing his overalls and a cashier whose jaw was ripped open. Michael attacks Dana in the bathroom, and when Aaron arrives to save Dana with an iron rod, Michael kills him by bashing him into the door numerous times, right in front of Dana. Post that, he proceeds to choke Dana to death. Michael inspects their vehicle and recovers his mask, putting it on as if he wants to let the world know that he is back. Laurie learns about the transport crash and breaks into Karen's house to demonstrate her lack of security. After a brief argument about Michael with Karen and her husband, Ray, she leaves and heads to the gas station in time to witness the bodies of Aaron and Dana being recovered. On Halloween night, Michael wanders a populated street in Haddonfield, littered with families and children trick-or-treating. He finds his way into a shed behind a house and takes a hammer before going inside to kill the sole occupant. He replaces the hammer with a kitchen knife and moves to the house next door, killing another woman by stabbing the knife through her throat. This tells us that it gives him extreme pleasure to select random people and to kill them without remorse. On the other hand, Allison is at a Halloween party with her friends and receives a call from Vicky, inviting her to come over, once Julian, the kid she's babysitting, falls asleep. Allison gets into an altercation with her boyfriend, Cameron, after he kisses another girl, and when confronted about this, he throws her phone. This disconnects the call from Laurie, who was calling to warn her about Michael. At Julian's house, he tells Vicky that he saw a masked man standing in the doorway, but Vicky dismisses it as his imagination and puts Julian to bed as her boyfriend, Dave, arrives. But after some time, as Vicky checks the closet at Julian's request, she opens the door and is attacked by Michael, who is hiding inside. Julian flees the house and calls the police. Dave, who is on the ground floor, decides to go upstairs to save his girlfriend, but he is no match for Michael and eventually loses his life after being stabbed through the neck. Laurie, who was patrolling the streets in her truck, hears the dispatch call on her radio and hurries to the house, where Sheriff Hawkins is investigating. He finds Vicky's corpse and Laurie shoots Michael through a window, only to find out it's his reflection in a mirror. Laurie and Hawkins patrol behind the neighboring houses and Laurie manages to locate Michael and shoots him, but as she turns the corner, Michael is nowhere to be found. Allison ditches her boyfriend at the party and allows her friend Oscar to walk her home. Taking his chances, Oscar tries to kiss her, but Allison rejects his advances and he lags behind. Spotting Michael watching him, Oscar tries to apologize, thinking himself to be trespassing on Michael's property. But seeing him approach, Oscar tries to escape. Unfortunately, he gets caught on a fence. He cries for Allison to help him, but this is when Michael impales him, killing the poor guy on the spot. Allison turns back and is horrified to find Oscar's body. She is chased by Michael before finding refuge in a neighboring home. Karen and Ray arrive at Laurie's fortified home and wait for Allison to arrive. Dr. Sartain accompanies Hawkins and, in turn, find Allison during their search for Michael. Finding Michael, Hawkins runs him over with the police SUV and gets out of the vehicle to shoot Michael at point-blank range, despite Dr. Sartain's protests. But as it turns out, Dr. Sartain has a wicked obsession with Michael as he wants to know how it feels to kill someone. Seeing the opportunity, he stabs Hawkins in the throat with a blade hidden inside of a pen and kills him before taking Michael's mask and trying it on. Dr. Sartain loads Michael into the back of the vehicle with Allison, terrifying the poor girl, and drives to Laurie's house, with the intent of reuniting them. Michael regains consciousness and reclaims his mask, and Allison informs Dr. Sartain that Michael spoke to her. While Sartain is distracted by demanding to know what Michael said, Michael breaks through the security barrier, forces Dr. Sartain out of the vehicle, and stomps on his head, killing him instantly. Seeing this, Allison flees on foot into the woods. A pair of other cops arrive at the scene, and after seeing Hawkins's car parked nearby, they radio him, but do not get a response in return. Sensing something to be off, they decide to check in on Hawkins, and this is when we see Michael menacingly watching them from behind. Seeing a police car parked outside their home, Ray grabs a gun and steps outside to ask for update, but finds them dead. We recognize them as the same cops who went to investigate Hawkins's car. Michael appears behind Ray and strangles him. Ray tries to fire at Michael but misses. Michael eventually kills him before heading to Laurie's house. Hearing the gunshot, Laurie alerts Karen of Michael's arrival, and sends her into the hidden safe room in the basement as she locks and barricades the front door. Michael breaks through the glass panels in the door and attacks Laurie, who escapes by shooting Michael's hand with a shotgun, stripping him off 2 fingers and forcing him to retreat. Laurie patrols her house room by room and seals each room off with security gates. She encounters Michael upstairs, and as Laurie tries to fight him, he stabs her and proceeds to push her away. This leads to Laurie falling off from the balcony. Allison arrives at the house, distracting him for a moment, and when he looks back at Laurie, she is gone. Allison makes her way into the safe room with Karen. Michael proceeds to break the table to reveal the passage to the basement, and as soon as he appears, Karen shoots him with a rifle. This is when Laurie appears from the shadows, wishes Michael a happy Halloween, and stabs him with a knife, sending him tumbling down the steps into the safe room. Karen and Allison try to leave the safe room, but Michael regains consciousness and grabs Karen's ankle. Allison stabs him with his own knife, and the two escape the room. Karen flips a switch, and metal bars spring into place, barricading the exit and trapping him in the safe room as it fills with gas. Laurie lights a flare and tosses it through the bars, setting the room ablaze with Michael in it. This is where Laurie bids him goodbye. Laurie, Karen, and Allison escape, as the house is engulfed in flames, and hitch a ride in the back of a pickup truck coming down the road. The 3 women embrace as they're taken to safety. The lifelong struggle of Laurie and Karen comes to an end, and Allison gets to live her life in safety. This is how the movie ends. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Please also let me know about your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching.